Hi everyone, Sahil Bora here today, and in today's video we're going to be talking about creating a salary generator program in C++. So if you've ever heard of those accounting programs like Xero and MYOB, those accounting programs can be used to generate employees' payslips. So what we're going to be doing in our program today is that we're going to be generating an employee's payslip by the amount of sales that they've generated for that company. So the way that this salary generator program is going to work is that what it's going to do is, as I've got my notes here, is that it's going to generate the salary of an employee with respect to the sales of the employee has obtained. So the requirements for generating the sales are going to be the week 1, where the user inputs the total sales for week 1, and then in week number 2, a function is called to generate a random number between 1 and 5,000. And then in week 3, the user again manually inputs total sales for week 3. And then for week 4, a random number between 1,000 to 5,000 is generated to get the total sales for week 4. So after all that is done, it's going to calculate and generate all the sales generated and calculated from weeks 1 to 4. And then it's going to output the total salary for the month at the very end of the program. So let's get into the source code to see how this is going to be implemented in C++. Alright, so here we are inside the salary generator program C++ source code here inside Visual Studio. So to start off with, in lines number 11 to 14, we have the function prototypes of the program. So if we have the weekly salary, the random sales generator function number 1, and then we have a second one as well. And then we have the print signature function. So down below here in lines 19 to 22, we have the constant global variables. Well, it's actually line number 19 is actually going to be a constant variable the entire time. So if you've seen my other video before where I explained constant variables, what constant variables are in a nutshell is that the value will never change. A constant variable declaration means is that the value is going to be consistent the entire time and will not change. So if we go down, actually before we go into the int main function, let's go further down a bit to see our function implementations. So if we look at line number 85 here, what's happening here in the function of weekly salary is that it's returning and calculating the weekly salary and returning that value when this function is called. So it's doing weekly sales times commissions, and then it's adding the normal pay. Excuse me. And then we've got our random sales function here. So this is our random number generator here. So what it's going to be doing here is that it's going to be generating a random floating point number here in the range between 1,000 and 5,000 and returning the value here at the end here once that's been generated, and vice versa for the function down below for random sales too. So if we go further up now, what it's going to be doing is that once we start executing the program, it's going to be executing our int main function. So what it's going to be doing here is that it's going to be asking for the user for their week 1 sales. It's going to be entering in, the user will inputting in their sales for week 1, and then it's going to be executing that random the random number generator. So the random sales function that we've got on line 41 here, and then 42. Yep, so in lines number 48 to 50 for week 3, it's going to be asking the user to input the sales for week 3. And then week number 4 is going to be calling the second random sales generator, which is going to be our second random number generator. And then on line 63, it's going to compute the total salary for all those weeks from weeks 1 to 4. And then it's going to output the payslip generated in all those weeks. And then it's going to display the total salary at the end of the program. So let's run through this program and see what actually happens. So we've got our program running now. So let's say the total sales for week 1 was around about 100. and then it's generated a random number for week 2, which is 1076. Let's be a little bit more generous here and say for week 3 we generated around about 1,500 sales. And then week 4 apparently I generated 0 sales. Well, that's pretty random. So it shows all the data for the payslip. So in week 1 I generated 100 sales, so the weekly salary is 220. Week number 2 it generated 1122 sales, so the weekly salary for that is going to be $415. Week 3, 1,500 sales, weekly salary for that is going to be $500. Week 4 made 0 sales, so it's just going to be our standard wage for that week. So the total salary month for that program is going to be $1,335.20. So this is breaking down the source code of generating a basic salary program, payslip program in C++. And if this has made a lot of sense for you, please smash that like button down below and leave a comment down below to let me know what you think. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.